I was there, bowed, clad in rough robes marked with glyphs, hands clasped, eyes to the floor, as is proper for those who serve the sanctified art of the apothecary. I am nothing. I clean the fluids. I monitor the vitals. I seal the flesh where bone has been sawed through. I am not meant to understand. I am a witness, and what I have seen, I can never forget. All begins with negation. The self must first be undone, not killed but dissolved, stripped of all that betrays its humanity. They are led into the chamber of dark baths, where servants with polished skulls shave their heads, tear out their nails, extract their teeth, burn away old scars, as though even the history of their wounds must be erased. Then they are submerged. The pool holds no water, no balm, but a heavy opaque matrix, ferric gel saturated with catalysts, micro-machines, and the echoes of prayer. It seeps into the skin. It devours impurity. It dissolves scent. One boy struggled. Another let himself sink. But Tancrède remained still, suspended between two worlds, eyes wide open, staring into a sky none of us could see. Second dissection and opening. Once the body is emptied of what it was, begins the phase of acceptance. But to receive, one must first be opened. The master, whose name I shall not speak, worked without haste. He incised, parted, exposed, and prepared the cavities. Beneath his immaculate gloves, flesh opened like ripe fruit. It was a work of art, a slow liturgy, violent, irreversible. They received one by one the sacred organs, sometimes injected, sometimes grafted, sometimes embedded directly into marrow or grown into the bone itself. I recite their names as we were taught in the doctrinal crypts, in ritual high Gothic. Pulmo-duplex, the second lungs, to breathe, even where there is nothing left to breathe. Oculus noctis, the eye of night, that sees in darkness as in light. Cordis ferrea, a second heart of obsidian, slow but unyielding. Laminum nigra, the black carapace, etched beneath the skin, which will one day receive the armor. Glandes progenitrix, the living pearls, seed of the chapter, carried forever in the flesh. They are not created, they are not manufactured, they are passed down. When a brother falls, the apothecary retrieves the glands, often still burning with the heat of his last breath. From one brother to the next, from dead flesh to living, each gland is a genetic key, an imprint of the Primarch, a fragment of a war too old to be dated. We no longer understand them, but we revere them. Not all are accepted. Some hosts reject them, others collapse, burned from within. Emrys, one of the chosen, broke on the third day. His kidneys could not endure the growth of the reni cernum, and his blood thickened until he suffocated. The master said nothing. He noted the failure and ordered the incineration. Tancrède trembled at times, but never in front of the others, and his wounds, however deep, always healed by morning. The doctrinal shadows. Once the flesh is transformed, the mind remains, and the mind is 1,000 times harder to reshape. They suspend them in inverted chambers where gravity slips away. They deprive them of sleep, flood their senses with pulsing lights, contradictory whispers, truths screamed into forgetfulness. It is said they make them relive death, their mother's, a brother's, their own, again and again, until tears become nothing more than memory, a function deactivated. I remember Garrett, once joyful, now mute, his gaze fixed on nothing. When they stood him up again, he had forgotten how to walk. Tancrède, by contrast, kept his eyes shut, but he breathed, slow, deep, and that breath seemed to hold the whole universe at bay. Then comes the trial from which no one returns unchanged. They are locked alone in a chamber sealed with triple rings. No sound, no light, only absence. And in that absence, something approaches. It is no spirit, no dream, no demon, but a presence. Some emerge screaming, clawing their faces down to the bone. Others never emerge. I remember one name, Alistair. He had faith. He had song. He had purpose. He came out in silence, pupils blown wide, then plunged his head into a vat of burning oil. Without a word, Tancrède spent 2 days in that night, and when he returned, his face was unchanged, but no dreams remained in it. The final sealing, the last gift, the cruelest, is the carapace. Beneath the neck, across the back, into the chest, they pierce the flesh to insert the ports of the laminum nigra. They are not organs, they are anchors, hooks, locks, gateways to war. One boy ruptured from within, his veins curled back like wounded serpents. Another never woke for 6 days, but Tancrède stood and walked to his own shadow, as if he had always been waiting there. Those who pass all thresholds are brought before the chaplain, but he does not speak to them. He kneels, he touches a single finger, and the mind hears. I watched from the threshold of the sanctuary. The chaplain's skull seemed black with dead stars. His silence weighed heavier than all the bells of the mountain. Tancrède closed his eyes. And when he opened them again, he was no longer the boy we had known. And in a voice stripped of all emotion, he said, "I am Tancrède. I am the chapter's silence, and by my will, I become the Emperor's blade."